Hey there, welcome to Tim Talks Cooking. I'm Tim, and today I'm making keto chicken pot pies. That's right, I'm going to make little individual keto chicken pot pies that you could, say, for example, pack up and take to work with you, or that'll be perfect for a quick dinner. I'll also, as always, have the macros for you at the end of the video. Let's get started. It begins with the filling, of course. Here I'm heating up 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in my nonstick skillet over medium-high heat. I'm going to add in a half of a medium red onion. It's about 3 ounces of onion, 100 grams or so. Get all of that in there. I'm going to stir that around, coat all of the pieces of onion with that hot oil. And we're going to soften them up here. Add in a little salt, nice pinch of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon, and some freshly ground black pepper, probably a half a teaspoon or so, something like that. And I'm going to stir these around while they fry. This is going to take a couple of minutes. Here it's been about 3 minutes, and you can see they're softening up and they're becoming translucent. Now it's time to add in some bell pepper. I've got a half of a red bell pepper. It's about 80 grams or so, diced up. I'm also going to add in some sliced white mushrooms. Here I've got 4 ounces of mushrooms. I'm just going to toss those in there just like that. And I'm just going to saute these things together and just stir them around until they cook up a little bit here. This is what it looks like when it's pretty much cooked. Now here I'm going to add in a teaspoon of Italian herbs and stir them in to incorporate them well. And I'm going to add in 3 ounces of chopped fresh spinach. If I'd had a little more spinach, I probably would have put it in. This is just what I had. And here we have it. You can see the spinach really disappears, right? Next, I'm going to add in 2 cloves of chopped garlic. You could add this in earlier if you want. I just don't want to overcook the garlic. It loses its flavor. Or if you burn it, it of course becomes bitter, so I avoid that by doing it this way. Now, when I smell the smell of garlic, I turn the burner off. And then we're going to put this in a bowl to cool off before we go on the next. And here we are. We're going to add in some other ingredients. I've got 6 ounces of shredded chicken thigh meat, and I'm just going to stir that in. And I'm also going to add in 1/4 cup, that's 60 grams of Parmigiano Reggiano. You could add any kind of Parmesan or other cheese that you like. I think this just goes really well with these ingredients, and it's my favorite, one of my favorite cheeses. And I'm also going to add in 2 cups, that's 500 milliliters, of my keto cream of celery soup. That's really going to make this creamy and luscious, and it's a really good use of cream of celery soup, if you ask me. Now, for our pie shell, I'm going to use a fathead dough. This is usually used for pizza. Here, mine is made with coconut flour, and I'll put my recipe, a link to it, up here on the screen. Here you can see the nutritional information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this out between 2 sheets of parchment paper. Oh, and by the way, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 200 degrees Celsius. Anyway, roll it out here. And you don't want it too thin, but you don't want it too thick either. I'll show you what I mean in just a second here. Here's what we want. It's this thickness of dough that I want to put in these custard cups. So here I'm going to use this, cut out a circle. And this is really just so it's very neat. You could do this in any shape you want. Now I'm going to take just a little bit of olive oil, smear it around the bottom and sides of my custard cup. Try not to drop it. And then carefully, I'm going to lift up my circle of dough. Just like this. Here it comes. It's delicate, but not impossible. There we go. And then I'm just going to coax it down into the bottom of my custard cup as neatly as I can. And so here we go. We're just going to roll it out for each one individually. Here's what they look like when they're ready to fill, and I'm just going to spoon some of the filling into each one, just like this. Nothing to it. And you want to be nice and full. And I'm also going to top them off with just a little piece of some leftover fathead dough here. I'm just going to make a little circle and put it on top. I don't want to cover them completely. Fathead dough is a lot of calories, but this will be perfect. You'll see it'll be really cute when we pull it out of the oven. These are ready to go into our 400 degree Fahrenheit, that's 200 degrees Celsius oven for 30 to 35 minutes. Watch until they brown a little bit on top. And here they are right out of the oven. Aren't they gorgeous? And they really smell great. I think these are going to be just delicious. Well, all right, let's give it a taste here. Man, these things turned out so cute, and I think it's just going to be delicious. It smells great in here, of course. Now, you know, a fathead crust, it's not really like a pie crust. It's a little softer. It's more like bread. But I think it made a really good pie shell for this. Wow. That is so delicious. And I'll tell you, that cheesy crust, man, really adds a lovely sort of layer of deliciousness to the whole thing. Before we go, let's talk macros. Now, for the whole recipe, comes down to this, and that's including the fathead crust: 2,540 calories, 54 grams of net carbs, 182 grams of protein, and 191 grams of fat. Per portion, that's an eighth of the whole recipe, comes down to this: 317.5 calories, 6.7 grams of net carbs, 23 grams of protein, and 24 grams of fat. Really good keto recipe. Hope you try it. I also hope that you will like, share, especially on Facebook, but elsewhere in social media as well. Comment right here on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Helps my channel grow, helps you find my videos, especially if you click on that notifications bell. Thanks so much for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking, huh? See you next time.